situation that happened earlier, how would you kind of describe that, and what are some of your thoughts as far as communicating and just the dynamics at play in that situation earlier?
You know, I think you touched on it a lot. It's when people are passionate about a situation, that passion kind of becomes a boiling point. And so sometimes we have to allow that passion to happen without personalizing it, without allowing it to become a personal issue for the recipient of that. I'll say, for example, that when my friend Spud, and I watched him grow up with my brothers, when you personalize a situation and you say you, then that person feels personally attacked. He could be talking about you and the proverbial you, the proverbial individuals on the other side of what it is that he's speaking about that have caused him to be in this place where he is. A lot of passion, as you see expressed by Spud and other people, come from the fact that nothing has changed. And the more things don't change, the more passionate you might become about a situation. Because if you feel like you're up against the wall, what else do you have? Oftentimes, it erupts into violence. Oftentimes, it erupts into allegations that may be directed towards people who just need to understand. But you don't get understanding on a one-sided conversation. You might get debate, you might get hurt, but there's a stage for you, and you're already pursuing that. And the stage for you, which I applaud and will support, is to be on the Venice Neighborhood Council, where you can make a difference. And you can make that difference through getting people to hear and understand where you're coming from. And as we move together as a group and look forward to supporting the one agenda that we have for peace, equality, and justice, it's not going to come easy. We have to fight for that. We're willing to fight for that.
Fight yourself.
We have people, pardon me?
You have to fight your own self, your own ego.
Well, ego gets in the way. We have a president that is the postcard picture of ego. So, I mean, we know that ego gets in the way, but we're talking about principle. We're talking about justice. We're talking about what's right. And there's people who have a different understanding of what's right, and it's called greed. Self-aggrandizement and greed. It's right for me. It may not be right for individuals over there, but it doesn't matter that I don't know what a loaf of bread costs because I never have to go to the grocery store and buy any. But for people who are in the trenches, people that are at the real life levels of having to work every day to make a living, it makes a difference. But then there's people who are so far removed from that they don't get it. One of our jobs, as I see it, is for us to be more united in the efforts that we're putting forth to make that difference. And there are many ways to do it. There's no one way. There's no one pathway to the social justice, equality, and fairness that we're looking for. We have to look to the diversified ways in which people can use their own strengths and talents in order to help us. But it still must be in a common effort to reach the same goals, even though we might get there on a different pathway. Yes?
Yeah, that's a good point. I've served, I volunteered for the military. I served, and I do not want to face my maker. And from the time that I was little, my people have done great things in this country. Great inventions, we never got credit for anything. Great writers, we never get credit for anything. We get credit for being criminals and going to jail. And it's not fair. I have defended the people around the world, including the Middle East. I have defended because righteousness is not an emotion. But I have a right to defend my people. I have a right to, when I raise my children and when I raise my grandchildren and teach them that they have rights, that they can go to the national park, or you can go anywhere. I have a duty to defend them, to defend my mother. I have a duty to defend Naomi. She's known me my whole life. I know her brothers. I know her mom. I would be remiss if I did not do that, because I love them. I was raised in the community, like she said, that it was everything, but we never get credit for anything. And I'm going to stand up and I'm going to defend my people like I defended the United States of America, or like I would defend any person around the world that is treated unfair. And yes, I admit that I am bitter for the precious blood I bled and for the many years of oppression that they heaped upon my head. I'm just tired. I'm just tired. So, I just need someone for everyone in this country, not black people, but I've never seen a flood with one drop of water. I've seen zillions and zillions, but it has to be addressed.
Okay.
And it just has to be addressed,
Okay.
and that's my role. I am a defender
Do you have a question,
of my
too, or?
people.
Okay, and I acknowledge what you're saying,
Yes.
but what I will say also is that you can't paint everybody with one brushstroke. When you say, wait, now you wait up, hold it down.
They can't be that way.
You as an individual, and that's where we have to make the difference. You can talk about you as an individual, and you can talk, he can speak for himself.
Yeah, but I'm
that-
saying in trials and stuff, I agree with you, but when is what you're saying going to be applied to me? When are they going to view me? If I'm always doing that and still haven't
Okay,
got
but you,
anything,
but if, I'm
what
gonna
do I
say
do
this,
now?
and we're not gonna argue, but you and I can talk.
Yes.
Because there are books and books of individuals, of contributions that African Americans have made,
Yes.
have been acknowledged for, and who are in fact celebrated for. So when you say nobody, that's incorrect.
Well, why are we in the state that we're in
That's
now?
a different subject.
In
That's
2019.
okay. We can talk about that. We can talk about that, but it is not when you brush one stroke and say everybody and nobody. That is to infinity. Okay, but that is not the truth. That is not the truth.
Well, if
It
it's
may
not
be-
the truth for me, then it's not the truth for them, but nobody's
And like I
telling
said,
them that they can't do that.
until we're all free, nobody's free.
Oh,
But
well,
that,
you need to tell them that. 'Cause
Okay.
I need to bow down.
okay, well, nobody's asking you to bow down.
Okay.
What I'm asking you is to stand up and get out and fight. So yes, sir.
I just wanted to make a comment about how, it seems like the whole world is like in this war between black and white, male and female, rich and poor. And yet this fight is actually on the inside of every single one of us, see, because it took a mom and a dad for us all to be born, you see. And the mom and dad represent that black and white, rich and poor in a way, because for one thing, the earth is commodified, even though originally it was only just a community. You see, and that's like the mom, and like the blacks oftentimes represent that communal type of spirit, which is very family oriented, which we all need. It's the sweetness that keeps things together, right? And there's a moral aspect. And then the white or the male represents this element that is more individual, and we do need that as well, because we all need to understand that we need self-discipline and that we are all unique beings. And that it's important for us to also stand out in that way while keeping things communally together. And the people that are individualistic are oftentimes disinterested in the community, even though there's people making progress in communal vibes and family spirit that we all need to live by, you see, but because they're too indulged in their ego in that way, and the communal people are too indulged in their lack of self-awareness, you see what I mean? And so they
I
expect
do,
the others
but I think
to
you're
do the
also,
work.
I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, I hear it. but I think you're speaking on a larger and more global level.
Well,
That-
and also at the root, you see what I mean? Because
But yes, I do see what you mean, but we're talking about a group of people who on a very basic level from day to day are concerned about how they're going to eat and where they're going to sleep.
Yes,
And
because
wait,
the
wait,
system-
please.
yeah.
And how they're going to keep themselves out of prison.
Absolutely, that's the thing. The earth has now become imprisoned by this commodification.
I
which
understand
means
exactly
also
what you're
related
saying,
with
but
the
you're not hearing me when I
female.
say you're speaking on a level that is much more global.
Yes, see, but let me get to the specific.
Okay.
When I say commodification, that means now the earth, which is also the mother, which is the family value, has become a monetary value. And so the male spirit, who is also white, is now become dominant over the female spirit, which is the earth and which is the community, which is the nourishment. And so now you have to pay for everything, and even the blacks have become like commodities, slaves and imprisoned, even though they have all these spiritual things to offer that are nourishing to us, and we all need, right? But see, the problem is that the earth, right? See, because the earth gives like a mother. She nourishes us, but now we have farmer, we have police state, all of this stuff is commodification of the earth and also the female. So when you, as a human being, try to represent yourself as a sexual being, you're also contributing to that spirit of commodification of your own soul, of your own self, because you are a female. You are a family spirit, you see? But they make you like a thing of temporary pleasure, like an object to be
Okay,
used
so-
and thrown away, you see? And all these things are related, and that's one of the reasons why they hate Muslims, because the Muslim, Islam, and the
Okay,
Holy
can you
Quran,
bring
if
your
you don't mind me
conversation to a
finishing,
close?
just one second,
Okay.
represents the freedom of the black and the freedom of the woman by resisting the commodification and the belittlement of her through sexualizing her
Okay.
and objectifying her, thus imprisoning her just the way the black
Okay,
is.
all right, so thank you for your comment.
You're welcome.
Are there
Thank you
any
for
other
listening.
questions?